With me now is Oregon Secretary of State Tobias Reed. Secretary Reed, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
A petition to refer a transportation funding law to the November ballot now has more than 250,000 signatures. Secretary of State's office has until January 29th to verify that. What does this process look like?
Well, let's talk about what we're trying to do here. We want to make sure that every Oregonian's voice is heard, and we want a process that is rigorous and accessible and visible. So that's what's going on right now. We are counting and sorting all of the signatures that we received to make sure they were submitted consistently and appropriately, correctly, essentially. And then we're going to take a statistically significant sample from that total number of signatures and verify those one by one. If enough of those signatures on the sample go ahead by, with that ratio, we'll apply that to the entire number of signatures that we've received, and then we'll know if enough signatures have been submitted. If that happens, that question will go to the ballot in Oregonians. In the meantime, we want to make sure that everybody can watch that. So people can show up in person and watch that process, and we're streaming it online as well. And we will soon have an answer to that, and we'll know whether Oregonians get to weigh in.
Quite a long process. So do you have an estimate of how long it will take?
Not much longer. We're adding that rigor, that attention to detail. So we got to do it, in a way that earns the confidence and the trust in that process. So we are most important is to get it right, not to hurry. But we've got plenty of time, and we're very close.
Okay. Last month, you and 9 other secretaries of state sent a letter to the Trump administration asking about how voter data is being used. Did you ever get a response?
No. We wanted to make sure that we're expressing our concerns about how that data is being used. We've not gotten any answers ahead of time when the federal administration demanded that information, and we've not gotten any answers since about what they're going to use that information for or what commitments they're comfortable making to protect the privacy of that information. And I think that's something that all Oregonians ought to be concerned about.
Do you think that letter made it for the administration to push even harder for voter information? Because this month, the Department of Justice filed lawsuits against 6 states. 3 of those states participated in sending the letter.
Yeah, we were among the first 2 to be sued, us and Maine. So my responsibility is to protect the right of Oregonians to vote and to protect their private information. So that didn't enter into my conversation or my thinking. I want to know. I don't think they have the authority to have that information. They haven't followed the process to request it correctly. In fact, we also said you could have the same public information that anyone else can if you fill out this form and pay the $500. The response was the lawsuit that we are now subject to and in federal court on.
Okay, your office is also working on straightening out an ambitious campaign finance reform bill. It was passed last year. Now, parts of the law are set to take effect in 2027, January 2027. You've spoken publicly that there have been massive hurdles. Is your office on track to meet those deadlines?
We're going to do everything that's necessary, but what I wanted to make sure that people understand is that I think it is an essential goal for us to reduce the impact of big money in politics. It's just not acceptable that the interests of donors would come in front of the interests of Oregonians. But we've got to get this right. This is something that is really important to have all the details in place. And the bill that was passed by the legislature was acknowledged even by the proponents at the time to need more work. There are gaps in that bill. There are conflicts in the definitions. And I wanted to make sure that the legislature understands that. We're going to continue doing everything, but our chances for success are dramatically increased if we get those things ironed out and we have the resources in place to take on what is a big technical challenge and something that no other state has yet done.
You mentioned this, so what kind of resources? We're
talking about millions of dollars, and we're talking about the need to get all those things done with the kind of rigor that a big change requires. You can think about lots of other things that didn't go very well because they didn't have the rigor in place, the testing, the processing. We got to do a big RFP because we don't have the capacity to do this sort of work internally. And again, no other state has done this. So we want to get that detail right. We want to have the time. We want to deliver something that's going to work for Oregonians and that Oregonians can be proud of.
Do you expect lawmakers to change the bill at all?
I sure hope so, because we're talking to everyone about what is not in that bill, where there are conflicts, where there are inconsistencies, where people who worked on the bill have diametrically opposed interpretations of what a specific piece of text means. So we got to get that worked out.
This month, your office filed a permanent administrative order implementing House Bill 4133. It passed in 2022. It allows voters to register online using the last 4 digits of their social security number and then a self-uploaded image of the signature. Some lawmakers have expressed concerns this change weakens Oregon's voter registration system. What's your response to that?
Well, let's talk about what it is. 4133 is the bill number. The legislature passed this and dictated to us that we implement it. So we're following the law. But what's actually happening here is we're basically putting online the same paper process that now exists elsewhere. So this is important, I think, because we want every eligible Oregonian to register to vote and to participate. That's how this democracy works. It's how people hold politicians and government accountable, and we want people to be able to do that.
Okay, this month your office released a third audit of the Oregon Health Authority's measure on the 110 program. It flagged a lot of issues. OHA has agreed to implement 3 of the 6 recommendations. Is your office satisfied with that outcome?
Well, our job is to make sure that we are highlighting the differences between good intentions and good outcomes. And I really stand by the recommendations in this audit, because what it points out is that we need a lot more long-term thinking. We need better data. We need better coordination. And I think the recommendations stand for themselves. If we want to know where we are going, we have to know where we have been, and that rests on data.
We are entering 2026. Is there anything that you're proud of achieving that you're looking forward to carrying out into the new year?
Yeah, I'm really proud of where we have started to take this office. There's a lot of turnover in this office in recent years, and we're building a team that is really committed to doing the work right. That's what government's supposed to do. We're supposed to make life easier for people, and we're at the center of a lot of things. So I had a great time this year traveling around the state, meeting with 36 county clerks. These are the heroes of democracy who are out there on the front lines, making sure that ballots are out there, that votes are counted accurately, that our elections come off well, and that's a big thing coming up in 2026. In addition to that, we're changing the way we decide where we are going to audit things. Instead of going with anecdotes and opinions, we're going with data. We want to go where we're spending a lot of money, not getting the results we want, where Oregonians are uniquely dependent on government getting it right. Think about foster kids, for example. We can't miss when it comes to a foster care child. So we are going to pick our audit targets based on that kind of data, and I'm really looking forward to that as well.
Oregon Secretary of State Tobias, thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, too.